Hey everybody, this is Jay with Jay Hags RC. Today we are not going to be working on a radio controlled truck. Today we are going to be installing a heater core into my 1968 Impala. Hopefully this video will help some people out. I looked online and on YouTube and I couldn't really find much for replacing one of these heater cores, but I got it out. I'm actually going to be working backwards. But I've got the new heater core lined out. There's a part number for it right there on that box. I've got an old 1952 Chilton's manual that I walked through that gave me some of the step-by-step. It took about 35 minutes to get this heater core out. This is on a factory air car, but hopefully this video will help some people out. This is the book that I'm going off of. It's Chilton's from 68 to 75. I believe this covers pretty much all domestic vehicles from that range. But anyway, let's crack this old bastard open. Here is our instructions. Just in case I shake a little bit or it doesn't focus, I'm going to go ahead and read the instructions. That's 68 to 71 Chevrolet. It does not specify, Nova, Chevelle, or any Camaro or whatever. It just says Chevrolet, and there is a different one for Corvette. But anyway, remove battery ground cable. You don't have to do that. That's not a big deal. Drain the cooling system. It's not necessary to evacuate the AC refrigerant. Remove the heater hose at the firewall. Remove the nuts from the heater distributor studs protruding through the firewall, and you'll see those. Remove the glove box. Remove the 5 center distributor ducts, duct cables, center duct selector duct screws, and center duct. From inside the car, drill out the lower case stud using a 1/4-inch drill bit. Remove the floor distributor duct. Remove the firewall screws and pull the selector from the firewall. Remove all wires, vacuum lines, cables attached to the assembly and remove it from the car. Scribe the temperature door, camming plate to selector duct relationship and remove the plate. Remove the heater core and core housing from the selector duct. There we go. Reverse the removal steps to install. So I'm already at the tail end, so I am working this backwards, but I think when you see it, this will all make sense. It's really not difficult at all. Okay, here we go. There is this big metal piece that the heater core attaches to. I don't know if this is the duct selector or exactly what part of the system this is. It's got a door, a little selector door on it. But anyway, heater core sits in this suit, and it's a replacement. It's an aftermarket, so it's probably going to take a little finessing. And it's got these 2 little clips that hook over and go into these holes. I'll get her finessed and show you the finish. Alright, the heater core is installed in the box. That's the firewall side of it. Your hoses, the exits. Let me show you. I had to gently manipulate the heater inlet and outlet hoses. You want to make sure that you have good clearance in between your hoses and there we go, and your shell. Make sure nothing leaks. There is 1, 2. They're kind of hidden. 3, 4. Up in this corner up here, back behind that damper. That hold these little straps on. Sorry, moving too fast. You also want to make sure on those straps that you have adequate clearance between your heater core and the screws right there. You don't want to run a screw into that. Now on mine, because it's such an old car, the original heater core was leaking. I've got some rot down here. I believe this is just like pot, cast metal or something like that. So I'm going to put just a little bit of duct tape down here to help kind of seal that for the airflow, make the air conditioner work better. But I'm going to do that, and then we are going to marry this to the plastic cover, the duct cover. Okay, here's our heater core box. This is the selector box, ductwork box. This is what you see up underneath of the dash. Come up and over. That's the bad boy you're looking at right there. This dude just slips in. Anyway, that's going to slip in like that. You also want to be careful when you're trying to put stuff like this together, especially on kind of orphan cars, you know, like a 68 Impala. Even though it's one of the third most produced vehicle in history, it's still really hard to get some of these parts for. But I'm going to cut it for a second. I'll get this all fitted up. Okay, we are all married up. This side drops in first, kind of goes in low. Come back a little bit. There we go. That way, these two pieces of ductwork kind of interchange or kind of intermingle a little bit. But drop that side in, slip her down, and kind of turn it in, and then you can put this side in. Now, there is this duct selector up on top, which gets this little dude. She slips up on it. I'll get that. Probably help if I focus on the right place, wouldn't it? But anyway, that dude slips up here. One more thing, witness marks on this, you know, on that plate are your friend. Take you a marker, draw where that plate goes. That way everything lines up as good as factory. I'll get that stuck on. Okay, here we go. These two are all married up. I'll show you the selector up on the top. Turn it a little bit. That's how that fits. I went around it with marker just for the make sure that the orientation is the same, and I think I still need to adjust it a little bit. But come back here, you know, that's your hot, cold selector right there. And the book mentioned something about quarter-inch drill, not quarter-inch rivets. Best I can tell is there was at one time something right here, and then something up on the bottom. But I don't know, because the car had the heater core replaced once, so I don't know if that's what they were talking about. But anyway, inlet outlet for the heater core. Here are your studs that protrude through the firewall by the evaporator box. This has this gasket, which comes up and around it. I'm going to put a little bit of weather stripping glue, but I would, on this, to help hold this gasket in place, because it was out on my car on the bottom, but I would say, little word of wisdom, don't use any more weather stripping glue than you think you need, because unless you're working on a mainstream car like a Camaro or a Chevelle or something like that, this gasket probably is not available. So I wouldn't put any more glue on it than what you need, because if you tear that, you're probably SOL. But I'll get this fitted up and we'll get ready to stick it in the car. Here's a good dumb tip for you. If you got a piece of weather stripping or something like that that's just being completely unruly, good metal straight edge, some vice grips, stick it where you want it, and then just put a little bit of pressure on with your vice grips, help hold that dude straight while that glue dries. You can do the same thing with silicone RTV or just regular silicone. Okay, now for the fun part. I'm gonna try to get this bitch married up into the car. Hopefully my big head doesn't get in the way, or hopefully I don't knock my phone over. So, going in from the passenger side. Goes. He went in easier than that. Anyway, this is going to be a boring watch. I'll cut to it when I get it stuck in. Okay, here we go. Down flat, come up into it, Move the cables. All your electrical bullshit. And she's gonna fly up there just like that, but I need to get my head in the way and I need a light, so I'll show you the firewall when I get it stuck through. Okay, forgive the poor light, but the heater box is installed. That sumbitch almost killed me. That was a hell of a fight. The heater hoses, the inlet and outlet, I had to bend and tweak them and get them lined up where they pass through the firewall, and I'll show you directly. Grab my light. Right there, that's a pretty tight fit. I had that box in and out probably 8 times trying to get those to make through the holes. The heater hoses, those inlet and outlet, that needs to go in first before your case bolts do. But anyway, there's one case bolt. There's 2, there is 3, and number 4 is up under here, and I'll show you. Give me a second. Situated. No, where is it? That is case bolt number 4 right there. I know it's pretty hard to see. It was left out of this car. I went ahead and put it in, but the inner fender comes off, or the inner fender comes out. There is 1, 2, 3 bolts right there. I took those out. It was a son of a bitch. You can pull that fender back enough that if you have smaller forearms, kind of smaller hands, you can reach up there. You might end up having to pull half that inner fender, and actually that might be a lot easier to do. But I'm gonna get my ass back up. That puts me done on the underside of the car. I'm gonna wrap up the under hood. I'm gonna drop it down off the jack. I'm gonna put the heater hoses in, and then I'll get to the ductwork. Okay, heater hoses are installed, so now we're going to start up under the dash. The first thing is there is, I believe that's the hot cold selector cable. I'm going to throw that dude back on. There is a vacuum hose right there with a little clamp that goes into that screw right there. Okay, there is our second cable. That one's up by the radio. I forget which one that is on the selector. And then there is, back a little bit. The third cable will go in right there for the defrost floor, or for the floor vent, I believe that is. I'll show you that one when we get all hooked up. Okay, vacuum line is on. Going to the fresh air recirc pod. That one is on. Don't forget about those little clips up on the top of that cable there. They just push on, they'll come off, easy to walk off with a pair of pliers. That just keeps that cable end from being able to come up and off. But let's see. That one is for the inside vent hot, the air conditioning. There you can see working. That blend door is the hot, cold for heat and air conditioning, if I'm not mistaken. Or that one, actually that one just, yeah, that one says AC. heat. And that is all right up there. Oop. See if I can get a picture. Yep, there we go. That's that one. There is